Guys, we're ready to go.
Keep safe.
Okay.
Before we go, I just want to say welcome to everyone. I'm going to hand over to Mandy for a brief introduction, and then I'll be introducing the speakers, and then we'll be taking the preliminary vote, the pre-test, if you like, for the researchers among you. So, Mandy, over to you.
Okay, thank you. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the second episode of the year for the Applied HE Squaring the Circle debate. The motion to be debated tonight is graduate employability should be the only standard by which higher education programs are judged. My name is Mandy Mock, and I'm the founder and CEO of Applied HE. Applied HE is an international higher education service provider, and we specialize in strategies and solutions for evaluation, global branding, and marketing for the higher education sector. Our professional networking services are designed to help universities forge strong connections between universities and their most important stakeholders. So we are rooted in Asia, and we aim to positively disrupt the global higher education sector. Tonight's debate master is Professor Kevin Downing. He is the Secretary to Council in Court and Professor of Veterinary Clinical Science from the City University of Hong Kong. Thank you very much, and thanks also to our speakers from the Philippines, UAE, UK, and Malaysia, a great diverse lineup of debaters. And without further ado, I'll hand the floor to Kevin.
Thank you, Mandy. Welcome once again, everyone. It's my honor and pleasure to introduce to you four distinguished speakers today. Speaking for the motion, which is graduate employability should be the only standard by which higher education programs are judged, we have Marjorie Gutierrez Tangog from the Philippines. Hi, Marjorie. Supporting Marjorie, ably supporting Marjorie, from United Arab Emirates originally, but currently in Canada, we have Professor Murad Al-Shibli. Hi, Murad.
Hi, Professor Kevin. Good morning.
And then the opposition, very able and experienced opposition. We have two very old friends of mine, Mrs. Winnie Ely, who's also in the United Kingdom. Hi, Winnie. And we have Bernie. I can't say Bernadine. I've got to call you Bernie. I've known you long enough. We have from Malaysia, my old friend and colleague, Dr. Bernie Wong. So hi, Bernie. Okay, so the way this goes is in a moment or two, I'm going to take a vote when Simon puts the polls up again in front of me. He's doing it now, I can tell. We're going to take a vote. I want you all to vote now. Then the speakers will each have 5 minutes to speak without visual aids. Then I'll throw this open for every participant or attendee to engage in the debate. Remember, you're not asking questions, you're making points for or against the proposition. Can I just point out that the speakers may have been asked to speak against a proposition when they agree with it, or they may have been asked to speak for a proposition when they disagree with it. This is an academic exercise. It's meant to be a bit of fun and an opportunity for us to learn a little bit about the differing views around the globe. So without further ado, I've launched the poll one. You've got another 3 seconds. Right, so we have 17% agreeing with the proposition and 83% disagreeing. And only 24 of the around 50 people actually voted. So at this stage, the opposers have an easy task. The proposers have an uphill battle. Without further ado, you can now see those poll results. I'm going to stop sharing those now. Okay, and we're going to go directly to Marjorie Gutierrez from the Philippines. Marjorie, you have 5 minutes to speak for the proposition, beginning now.
All right. Thank you, Kevin. Amazing evening, morning, afternoon, everyone. I shall be presenting supporting arguments for the motion graduate employability should be the only standard by which higher education programs are judged. Accordingly, I would like to begin by setting the definition of employability. In line with Kenash 2015, employability is a student's knowledge, skills, attributes, and disposition needed to succeed in the workforce, which not only includes knowledge that applies to the workplace and career-specific skills, but also the ability to demonstrate soft skills such as communication and problem solving. With that, I am proposing that graduate employability should be the only standard by which higher education programs are judged, because it ensures that programs are skill-based and outcome-based. According to Cheng 2021, the general consensus in literature is that employability is core to higher education. Moreover, Clark in 2017 asserts that graduate employability has been a key driver for universities in Australia, United Kingdom, and etc. According to Times Higher Education, just recently, the industries have been especially prioritizing skills when recruiting. A study done by California Community College in 2020 describes 21st century employability. These are soft skills, baseline skills, foundational skills, and emotional intelligence. This implies that focusing on graduate employability ensures that programs are skill-based and outcome-based. Due to the concerns over massification of higher education, this is from Sin and Neve in 2014, this has become all the more important. Massification is the proliferation of student enrollment, placing impossible demands on infrastructure and student resources, with the priority of catering to the concept of the average student. Due to this, the quality of education decreases as well as its impact on each individual student. While massification and an increase in the intake of students increases the viability of universities, schools, it has also put at risk the quality of education that students have received, as institutions choose or may have chosen to prioritize enterprise viability over the quality of education. While this increases the number of graduates worldwide, the decrease in quality education due to massification has also decreased the quality of graduate skills, both specific skills and soft skills. The massification of higher education has led to more instances of academia for the sake of academia, leading for parts of curricula to become irrelevant. The balancing act between viability versus quality through skill-based and outcome-based curricula would be important. With this, it can be ensured that there is a connection between academia and real life, minimizing academia that is then irrelevant for some. According to Gupta 2023, skill-based curricula focus on developing practical skills over theoretical knowledge and emphasize critical thinking, problem solving, and lifelong learning. More recently, industries have been favoring graduates who can hit the ground running and are able to apply what they have learned in their degrees, their different programs, to the workforce. This in itself requires critical thinking and problem solving. These soft skills are specially favored because they guarantee independent thinking and effectiveness at work. In a fast-paced world with continuously developing technologies, Graduates who are lifelong learners who independently keep their skills up to date are desirable. These are the graduates who can remain globally competitive even years after graduation. This is further supported by how outcome-based curricula restructure according to the working environment and promote independent self-development. Once again, graduate employability should be the only standard by which higher education programs are judged because it ensures that programs are skill-based and outcome-based, which emphasize on critical thinking, problem solving, lifelong learning for graduates' competitiveness right after graduation and in their long-term careers. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Marjorie. Bang on time there. Well done. So Marjorie speaking for the proposition, citing some distinguished researchers, pointing out we live in a fact-based world where skill and outcome-based programs and massification accompany the work that we do every day. Thank you, Marjorie. I'm going to move to Winnie now in the UK. So we go from Philippines to UK. And Winnie is going to present the opening case for the opposition. Winnie, your time starts now. You're muted, Winnie.
I should get a hang of it now.
That's
Thank you.
good.
Thank you, Kevin. Nice try, Marge. It is a radical stance to assert that graduate employability should be the only standard by which higher education programs are judged. Landing a job, having skills as one approaches graduation would be very, very nice. But expecting simply employment as one finishes with higher education programs in today's world should not be a given. Marge mentioned skills quite a lot, and I'll come back to it later. Not all higher education programs are outcome-based, skill-based, professional, and vocational by design. Graduate employability comes naturally for those who choose a trade and train in professions such as in law, education, engineering, medicine, nursing, and midwifery, physiotherapy, etc. You name it. Higher education programs cannot and should not be solely judged by graduate employment. Higher education programs educate, broaden the minds to knowledge and the unknown, and enlighten the curious so that we become fully functioning human beings, including having some of the soft skills and critical thinking that Marge refers to. Higher education programs are for the advancements of civility and humanity. Yes, lofty, you may say, but let's not forget why higher education programs are there for in the first place. To educate for civility, for better societies, for wealth and health generation, for communities and nations. Perhaps the recent decades of lack of government funding in higher education in certain jurisdictions, including what the proposer suggested. So Marge mentioned Australia, UK, the USA. I happen to work both in Australia and UK. And I think those jurisdictions with lack of government funding have allowed a short-sightedness of what higher education programs are meant to do and be measured by graduate employability to creeping, very sadly. My global good colleagues in higher education will agree that graduate employability should not be the only standard by which higher education programs are judged. Learners in higher education are not and should not be practically trained in professions only. Higher education programs are monitored and measured by a carefully calibrated framework of standards, which included quality of learning environment, quality of teaching learners received, learners' satisfaction of the education programs, review of the programs so that it's relevant and that both internal and external reviewers look at it on a regular basis. The singular standard of judging higher education programs by graduate employability is simply indefensible, offensive to the graduates and the higher education sector. And I urge you to support us in voting against the motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Winnie. I saw Murad smiling serenely as you went through that, and Bernie nodding very significantly. Winnie makes the point not all HE programs are outcome-based. Employment comes with most professional programs. In some jurisdictions, there's a short-sightedness, and it shouldn't be that we just practically train for professions only. So I think some very good points both for and against the motion there. So I'm going to move now to the still serenely smiling Murad in Canada, who's going to speak for the proposition. Murad, your 5 minutes begins now.
Thank you, Professor Kevin. What a beautiful morning. Well said, Professor Mars, and nice, talk, Ms. Winnie. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed colleagues, esteemed guests, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Many thanks to Applied HE, Professor Kevin Downing, Dr. Mandy, and Simone for their kind invitation to participate in this debate along with other esteemed speakers from around the world. Today, I stand before you to explore the concept that graduate employability should be the sole standard by which we judge higher education programs. It is undeniable a measure of prime importance, especially in our modern and AI competitive world. Yes, I propose that we dive deeper into this complex issue, examining the pros and cons and making an informed assessment rather than a swift conclusion. Let us start by establishing what we mean by graduate employability. This typically refers to a graduate's capacity to secure a rewarding employment job upon completion of their higher education program. And let us be clear, it is a critical outcome. Graduates and their parents and families have invested significant amount of time, effort, and money into their education, rightfully expect to lead to a worthwhile career. Furthermore, it's not just only about the individuals and graduates. Society as a whole benefits when graduates can readily contribute their knowledge and skills to the knowledge economy. Universities and colleges around the world, by training students for the job market, play an essential role in the economic development. So from both the individual and social perspective, graduate employability seems to be a compelling standard for assessing higher education programs. A study published in 2019 in the Journal of Higher Education Policy and Management found that employability skills are a key determinant of labor market outcomes for graduates. It also emphasized the importance of soft skills such as teamwork, problem solving, and communications. A study published in the Journal of Education and Work in 2017 highlighted the importance of internships, work placements, and industrial experience enhancing graduate employability. The study found that students who engaged in such opportunities were more likely to secure meaningful employment after graduation. In United Arab Emirates, as the United Arab Emirates has a very high emphasis on education, with one of the key visions of UAE National Agenda 2021 being the development of a first-class education system. As a part of their visionary strategy, UAE has been making major achievement in aligning educational outcomes with labor market demands to improve graduate employability. There has been also an increased emphasis on technical vocational education and training, TVET educational system, to increase the skill base and competency employability and balance between the graduates and market demand. As a benchmark, Abu Dhabi Polytechnic plays a significant role in balancing between the market demand and the graduate supply by adopting the dual educational pedagogy. At Abu Dhabi Polytechnic, the curriculum is designed and customized based on the industrial needs and standards and aligned to Abu Dhabi Vision 2030. Abu Dhabi Polytechnic brings to the table all stakeholders by developing the curriculum, sponsoring students, and signing employment contracts while the students are sitting in their own classrooms. adopting internship programs on the job training and job placements. This led to a very fruitful employability rate that reaches to almost 100% in the majority of Abu Dhabi program. To conclude, while graduate employability is a significant standard for assessing higher educational program, we need a balanced multi-layered approach that recognizes both practical and profound roles that higher education spirit plays in our world. After all, as the great philosopher and educator John Dewey once said, education is not preparation for life, education is life itself. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Murad. That was very interesting backup to Marjorie's proposition. Without and basically the point is society benefits from the skills and talents taught. Before we move to Bernie, I just want to remind all the attendees, please raise your hand if you have a point to make. There's a hand raise thing on Zoom. Raise your hand if you have a point to make when Bernie is finished, because I'm going to throw this open for discussion and we really want to hear from all of you. One thing I'm going to throw out there is, rather than graduate employability being the only standard by which higher education programs are judged, maybe we should be talking more about how we match what we are producing more generally to what the world is likely to require in 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 years' time. So just throw that question out there as well, because it hasn't yet come up. Hope I haven't stolen your thunder, Bernie. Speaking against the motion and supporting Winnie, your 5 minutes begins now.
Thank you, Kevin, and thank you to Applied HE for the opportunity to join in the discussion tonight. Today, when I was driving along in my car and listening to the adverts, there was an advert from a local university which bragged 100% employability. So it struck me that employability really does figure greatly as a selling point among institutions of higher education, among parents, and also among students. So the voting just now that said 4, I guess comes about because our listeners are mainly practitioners in higher education and see a bigger picture. It's a very narrow view to look at university or higher education as merely producing employable graduates, whatever that might mean. We're employable graduates with various attributes. When I was in my primary school way back when, 50+ years ago, I had to learn how to write well. It was a program called Good Rapid Writing, and we were all taught to write, taught how to add, and so on. It was only much later that I realized that those skills that we were learning were precisely because of the expectation at that time that after we went out to work, we'll be using all those skills, shorthand and so on. But then times have changed. Nowadays, students don't seem to be able to write. I mean, people going into Cambridge University requested that they don't have to write papers, but type. The point I'm trying to make in my sort of rambling way is that if we train people in universities with the expectation that when they leave the universities, they will go and find work and be able to stay in that work for the rest of their working life, I think that's a big assumption. And I think that assumption is uncalled for. We can, as Kevin was trying to say about how life will be like in 5 years, 10 years time, I really think we don't know how the working world will develop in 5 years, 10 years. Recently with ChatGPT, we find that it's a disruptive technology. When you have a disruptive technology, it means that the skills that people are being trained for today are no longer as solid as they used to be. And so if we aim our teaching and learning in university programs exclusively to be graduate employable, then I think we are shortchanging the students. And not only shortchanging the students, but also shortchanging society as a whole. We should, although graduate employability is important and the skills that need to be taught in there are valuable, to make it a sole standard by which higher education programs are judged, I think that's a bridge much too far. And I think we should reject the idea that graduate employability be used as a kind of a benchmark by which we judge higher educational programs and by extension higher education institutions. The institution I come from, University of Malaya, has as its ethos serving the nation and impacting the world. I'm sure our universities all have an ethos, and that ethos must be something larger than the very short-sighted goal of graduate employability, because we want to form citizens of our country who can think critically, not just think critically to solve the problems of the workplace, but to think critically to handle the problems that are yet to come. We want people who are able to go beyond what the people today know. And I would like to take the opportunity to quote Albert Einstein here, not related to him. He says, we cannot solve our problems with the same level of thinking that created them. So the only people, as I see it, who can use a level of thinking which is above the level that is ordinary would be done in a university. And therefore, I would say that if we train people in universities solely for the purpose of graduate employability, then it will be wrong. Therefore, I would like to urge you to reject the motion. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Bernie. You brought out the big guns there, quoting Albert Einstein, preparing for the problems yet to come. You talked a little bit about writing skills, and that disruptive tech means the future is, as always, uncertain, and that graduate employability should not be the sole standard or benchmark. So thank you to the four panelists for very engaging and lively presentations. I want to now open this up to the attendees, and I can see someone has their hand up already, two people. I'm going to first go to Mahender Reddy. Hi, Mahender.
Am I audible?
Make your point.
Am I audible?
Go ahead.
Okay. Let me congratulate you all for an excellent presentations. Both sides for presentations were very good. What I would like to say is I'm a bit concerned when you say employability is the only thing. Certainly it's very important, but don't say it's the only thing. What is important of higher education is to have a balance between academic excellence and human excellence. It is our responsibility to develop fine human beings coming out of the university, whether they get the job immediately or not. They are well prepared for the life. So one has to use both head and heart in taking the decisions, and that training must be provided in the university. Thank you, sir, very much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Mahender. Can you just tell us where you're from? Obviously, you're speaking again.
I was Vice Chancellor of ICFA University in Hyderabad. Now I am a distinguished advisor.
All right, thank you. That's lovely. And you make the point that it's not just about developing academic skills, it's also about developing human skills and I guess a sense of ethics and humanity, which I would hope that we all adhere to, which is kind of echoes what Bernie was saying earlier on. Thank you, Mahender. I'm now going to go to Bolagade Adekambi. I hope I've got that right. My apologies if I haven't. I'm just running these teeth in for someone else. So,
No, thank you.
Bolagade, hi.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. I hope you can hear me.
Very well.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you very much for the discussion. I think it's been quite interesting. At the beginning, when the issue was raised that it all had to be graduate employability, I felt, well, I think there should be more to it. And I think what the moderator had said, when Kevin said, perhaps we should be looking at it from another angle, I guess when he said, what are we, putting in the system that probably will be able to cope with what you have outside there, say in the next 4 to 5 years. So I guess that was more like it. And I think when Bernardine also came in, he kind of brought in, that it brought in the element of recognizing that it has to, go a little beyond that. And there was a reason he gave, which I think is worth underscoring, which is the fact that the class that you teach today, probably next week will have gotten a few more things that are new that you probably will still need to get the students to, look at. So, so that really shows that, our students need to have lifelong learning skills themselves. Apart from training them for industry, they should also have skills that will ensure that they keep on training themselves, for the world out there. Otherwise, they're not going to be useful. But having said that, if we also don't talk about graduate employability, I think we're going to continually have a mismatch between the theory within the classroom and the practice that is there in the workplace. I mean, even if you have a PhD in banking, you can't go to JP Morgan or any bank, the next day after your degree and fit in. Even the cleaners will need to teach you a few things. The clerical officers will need to teach you a few things. Otherwise, you're going to mess up the books with all your PhD. So obviously, we need to prepare for the world of work. But I also agree that we need to prepare for other things beyond the world of work, which I guess has come in, especially towards the end, of the discussions that we've been having. So those were some of the things that I thought I could just add to this. I work at the Boston Open University. I'm the Dean of the School of Education, but I'm also the Acting Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic Services. I hold all my degrees in adult education, so I'm able to relate to the things that we're talking about a lot.
Thank you, Bolagade. I think you make some very important points about lifelong learning skills. And I think that same need for balance, which seems to have cropped up before. And I've got 2 more hands up at least. Before we go to those other people, I just want to throw in something to get people thinking. It seems to me that we find it very hard as academics to define what distinguishes a graduate from another intelligent person who hasn't gone to university. Now, my argument, those of you who've read anything I've written about metacognition, is that a graduate should be much better at the metacognitive processes. In other words, they ought to be better at understanding others' arguments and the premises and the conclusions that are drawn, understanding their own prejudice, and getting along with that. I'm not going to go through a whole lecture on it, but I just throw that out there so that people can start to, refine this proposal perhaps a little bit and think about whether they do agree with some of it or they definitely disagree with all of it. Thank you, Bolagade. Really nice, along with Mahenda. I'm now going to go to Ponlawan Guanu. And Ponlawan, I've given you permission to speak. You need to unmute. And then please go ahead. Please say where you're from, whether you're speaking for or against the argument.
Okay, let me say good afternoon. My name is Bonao B. Guanu from Liberia. Let me say thanks to the panelists. I'm humbled to be on the platform once again. This is my second time being part of this thoughtful and enlightening discussion. So I'm so much grateful to be here. And if other Liberians are on the platform too, I want to say Happy Independence Day to us. Today is our independence as Liberian, 175 years old and 76 years old. So we are so glad to be an existing nation in Africa and the world over. So thank you so much to the panelists. I actually had some problem this morning with my network. Are you people hearing me?
Yes, very well, very well.
Okay. So I actually had problem with my network in connecting, but John when Mohad Asheba was speaking and later with one was speaking, so I didn't listen to the two first speaker. But however, for me, my contribution to the conversation on a discussion is that I feel that graduate employability should not just be the sole proponent that we should look at when it comes to education. For the context is that what I do understand back then in university, I was told by one of my professors, the reason why we go to school is to be analytical, is to be logical, and to be critical. So these things is all about how well do we engage society, how well do we address societal problems with the level of education we have achieved over the period of time. So I believe that society should be there to absorb graduates in order to address the unforeseen circumstances or challenging situations that may come forward. So it shouldn't be like the standard of the university that you go to make you who you are. It's what you have learned from the university and what you are able to do within the society that will be able to provide the level of change that you can make for that society. So I believe that the society itself has a role to play. The society itself has a role to play, a definite role to play in order to absorb whatever a level of experience or education that one may have gathered from a lot of university with respect to what they can do within a society. Like for the moderator said, 2, 3, 4 years from now, those emerging situations that will come up, how do we confront to them? How do we contribute? How do we address them? So I just feel that it's a both-way thing. Society has its own way to play to absorb people, that young people or even those that have graduated will be able to make a change, what they have learned from university into the society. I just want to speak about myself shortly. Sorry that I graduated. I went to a university and I graduated. At the university level, we were told that in our junior year, at a certain point in time, opportunity will have been given for us to do internship in our particular discipline. Unfortunately, we were unable to provide that. But what happens, we graduated and we came into the society trying to make our way to see how best we ourselves can give back to society whatever we have gathered. So it is more about the preparation from the academic aspect, and then the society, the larger society, be able to absorb what have been brought forth, what have been learned from the society, from the school level to the society. So I just see it that way. I believe that it could be a both-way thing, but we cannot hold it squarely depends on one side. So that's just my thought. I hope it makes sense. Yeah, I hope it makes sense. I just thought to just spread out this information.
That really
Thank
does.
you so much.
That really does make sense. And again, it echoes comments that Bernie made and others have made in their introduction. You know, I think very good points. I have a rash of hands now gone up. So you've also probably stimulated others. I'm going to go in order. I'm now going to go to Moguera Sangalo. Moguera, welcome. Please say where you're from, where you're speaking from, and let us know whether you're speaking for or against the motion. Moguera. Hello, Moguera. Oh, we can't hear you, Moguera. I don't know whether you're having internet issues. No, okay, I'm gonna move away. I'll come back to you later. Moguera, can you hear us? We can't hear you, so I'm going to move on, but I'll come back to you later, Moguera. I'm going to go to Ghulam Jilani. Again, Ghulam, if you could say where you're speaking from. You're muted at the moment. Please unmute. Hi, where are you speaking
Hi.
from?
Thank you very much. I'm Ghulam Jilani speaking from Pakistan. I'm a vice president also, Pakistan Policy Institute USA, as well as I'm a practitioner in the university. So I support Vinny's point of view, against the motion, because for the employability, graduate employability, we have also certifications, because it is not necessarily to have a graduate to be employed. I mean, after certifications, one gets employed, but to teach in the universities, one has to be a graduate. So unless and until you want to teach in the university, then you can opt for graduate employability. Another thing is, then since I'm a practitioner, I'm also a consultant to the government of Pakistan for SMEs, So SMEs are the 90% businesses, they fall in this SME sector, And for that, graduate employability is not necessarily. You must have some technical skill. As a result of that, you can be the part of that SMEs, which is contributing 90% of the businesses, So graduate employability has certain limitations, to have the employability. So I endorse Vani's version, for the against the motion. So thank you very much. I've been part of this program for the last, I think, 1.5 years, and I get acknowledged by my Mandy and by Kevin. I'm grateful to you to again put me on the panel, with you and interacting with you. It's a good learning from your side. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ghulam, and I'm sure we will. You make some good points. I have 4 more people to speak, and I'll go through them in order. Sunny Ayuk, Hope Mugogo, Lord Sabil, and Albert Ip. I think Albert's from Hong Kong. Albert will give the last word. We've only got about 10 minutes to go through. So guys, if you can keep your comments fairly short. I'm going to go to Sunny first. Sunny, where are you speaking from? You need to unmute if you could.
Yeah, thank you very much. Am I audible?
We can hear you fine.
Yeah, thank you very much. Actually, as you've just said, I'm Sonny Ayuk, calling from Botswana, specifically from the Botswana Open University, where I serve as the Dean of the School of Science and Technology, and at the same time, the chair of the Botswana Open University Employability Strategy Implementation. Actually, I don't know where to place myself, because in this kind of very important discussion, I think I will be both for and against. However, I am more against this view that employability should be the sole index, so to say, to judge program quality. Yeah, but in a large part, I think graduate employability is a good pointer to the program that developed that person or graduate. And what I found to be probably necessary from the beginning would have been first to tell or define what we really internalize as employability. It seems very direct and understood, but it would be worthwhile possibly to tell exactly what that really means, because we have been relating more here. I have been hearing mostly issues about graduate employment. We should also be able to look at graduate job creation. Apart from being employed yourself, you should be able to create jobs for others. And that's also a very important aspect of employability. And as the cry goes today, we all read from literature and also from other debates we interact on the point that there is this critical mismatch between the skills that many graduates bring out there looking for jobs and the requirements that these job offerers want. So in other words, some trainings don't quite sharpen these graduates to be able to fit in society. Therefore, one will say also that it is a good reasoning to think that the way you can be employed and the kind of employment you can get is a good pointer to tell as to how your program was designed and therefore the quality of that program. But it cannot only be that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sonny. I think I particularly take, and I saw other people react as well, to your comment about job creation. Graduates have a responsibility, particularly those, I guess, in relevant disciplines, to be able to create jobs and contribute to the wealth and welfare of their societies. So thank you very much, Sonny. I'm going to move quickly on. If I can ask people to keep their comments very succinct. I'm going to go to Hope Magogo. Hope, you have the floor. Please let us know where you're speaking from, unmute, and then whether you're for or against. Hi, Hope.
Hello, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. Good afternoon, I'm from Malawi, that's Africa. And my point will be against the motion for the fact that globally, now we are crying about the high unemployment rate across the globe. Now with the issue of employability, defining a university against the employability, then by and by the universities will become irrelevant in addressing the global issues. But having a graduate from the university, we are raising a generation which will be able to suit and provide the problems. Providing the problems does not only focus on employability. You are supposed to suit into the society and be able to solve the problems facing at hand. Secondly, I wanted to highlight on the point that currently the universities have been defined based on the rates they use to say the university is able to employ maybe 80%, 90% sort of. So in these such of the categories, it's a high time the universities are able to include other areas for their definition of how they are able to be, they are able to be relevant to the global in order to address the global issues than only looking at the employment. So thank you.
Thank you, Hope. Very, very good points. You got me thinking as you were speaking there about what distinguishes a university from a technical college in terms of what we produce and whether this motion is actually very much about that. Thank you very much indeed. Two more speakers. Can I ask you both to be succinct? I'm first going to go to Lord Sabile. Lord.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I'm Lourdes Sabile. I'm from the Philippines, and I would like to say something with regards to that I'm against the employability only as the standard for having for the graduates of any kind of education possible. And I would like only to say something with regards to Abraham Maslow, wherein you have the hierarchy of needs. You're familiar with that? Wherein it started with physiological needs. Of course, no, you know physiological needs or biological needs, meaning to say na if you're able to graduate, it will be very sufficient for you to survive and to take care of your physiological needs. And later on, there is the safety needs given by Maslow. And later on, there is the self-esteem needs. And the highest apex of the pyramid is self-actualization, meaning to say, for example, you're a graduate and you're employed. What will happen to you after 5 years, after 10 years, and later on, you're no longer thinking of your job, but you're thinking of other people, of the society, and that for that I am against I am against that employability will only be the standard for the graduates in any kind of education. Thank you very much for this opportunity. God bless.
Thank you, Lord, for those very succinct and very good points. Now I'm going to give the last word to an old friend, Albert Ip. Albert, if you could tell everyone where you're speaking from and whether you're speaking for or against.
Can you hear me, Kevin?
Yeah, very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine, and my background is I was a banker for 30 odd years, and in the business, I have been associated with CityU for the last 10 years. I voted against higher education to be the only determinant, but as I heard the people talk and your analysis, I changed my mind to say that while it might not be the only, I think it should be considered by universities to be the most important. The reason I say that is universities have been emphasizing on teaching and research. And I think most universities, if I can use the blunt words, empty talk. When they promote a professor, they only look at research. And the world is changing to when I graduated, 50 years ago, that research has to be knowledge transfer, practical. And I have not seen in my dealings at CityU and other universities that professors teach something which is practical. They focus on research. And I think when you teach something which relates to the industry, that increases the employability of the programs. Here, I want to say one last word. Programs are important, but I think universities should focus on having the professors or maybe a career office to broaden the scope of jobs and explain to the students what are the right skills suitable for the right jobs. So I voted that universities should pay much more emphasis on employability rather than on research. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, Albert. I should just let everyone know, Albert is a very, very stalwart supporter of City University of Hong Kong. I'm really happy to see him here this evening. He's generally regarded as one of the great and the good in Hong Kong society. Gives of his time freely to help us and to help students. So Albert, thank you very much for that. I hope I haven't embarrassed you too much, but if I haven't, then you owe me a lunch when I get back to Hong Kong. Okay, let's move on. So we come to the point where everyone has made some very good points. I think we've really teased this proposal out. It's appeared very straightforward at first. If you remember, we had 17% voting for the motion, 83% voting against the motion. I'm going to ask Simon to put the voting up again. You have 1 minute. Let's see whether you have an open mind and you've changed your view, or whether you have a closed mind and you're sticking to your guns. Right. Wow, this is looking very interesting. Let's see. Okay, this is good. We have another 40 seconds left. So it's very tight at the moment. I'm really quite surprised. Come on, only 28 people have voted. And we have around 60 people here. Okay, you've got 15 seconds left. That's changing. Definitely a change. Some open-minded people. Come on, vote for one or the other. Those of you that are left, 2 seconds. Okay, it's done. Okay, the poll has ended. And in fact, I have to declare a Pyrrhic victory for Marjorie and Murad, because they've managed to persuade another 17%, another sort of 15% of you to change their minds. Marjorie,
Thanks, Murad. My part, Murad.
But the overall victors remain Winnie and Bernie. I think actually we're all winners, because the contributions from the attendees today have certainly developed my ideas, and very, very interesting indeed. So we'll stop sharing those results now. There's been a movement from 17 to 32% agreeing, and a movement from 68%, from 83% to 68% disagreeing. So well done, everyone. It remains for me to, we're going to hand over to Mandy in a moment for a bit of a social. But before we do, I just want to thank, not necessarily in the order they spoke, Winnie Ely, who's partner at Education Insight, United Kingdom. Winnie worked at City University of Hong Kong for a while as secretary to the governing board of CityU. She was deputy VC at University of Newcastle, Australia, and Director of International Affairs at Hong Kong PolyU, as well as Deputy Country Director at the British Council in Nigeria. So Winnie, thank you for gracing us with your presence and intellect today. Bernie, Senior Research Analyst, Corporate Data Center, Office of the Associate VC, Corporate Strategy at University of Malaysia, in Malaysia. He's been closely associated with since about 1977. For those of you that don't know, University of Malaysia is #1 ranked institution in Malaysia. Bernie has served them for an awful long time and has undoubtedly contributed to that, because I know him through his active involvement with university rankings at that time. So Bernie, thank you very much for bringing us that lovely beach scene that you tell me your son put up on your Zoom behind you. And of course, for your smile, which is as sunny as the sky behind you. Thank you, Bernie. Now I'm going to go to Marjorie. Marjorie's Executive Vice President, University of Perpetual Help System, Delta, Calamba, Las Pinas and Malino campuses in the Philippines. She's sitting there bravely, even though a super typhoon is heading for Hong Kong via northern Luzon in Philippines right now. So I would say to Marjorie, thank you very much for bringing your personal values of honor and excellence to serve as an anchor for quality towards the uplifting the quality of teaching for the Filipino community. Thank you very much indeed for your intellect, your wisdom, and for gracing us with your presence today. And last but not least, Professor Murad Al-Shibli, who's Professor of Aircraft Engineering Technology at Abu Dhabi Polytechnic, UAE. Holds a PhD degree from Canada, specialist in mechanical engineering, mechatronics, and aerospace engineering. So he's one of the guys responsible for making the aircraft that we regularly sit on, hopefully safer and more comfortable. So thank you for that, Murad, and thank you for your contribution to today's debate. Thank you. I also want to thank Mahendra. No problem. I want to thank Mahendra Reddy, Bolagade, Ponlawan, Moguera. I'm sorry, Moguera, we couldn't hear you. Gulam, Sunny, Hope, Lord, and Albert for their contributions to the discussion. Thank you very much to Applied HE for making this possible. Stick around, and I'm now going to hand over to Mandy for a bit of an online social.
Thank you. Hello again. I'd like to thank lively debaters for the very impressive discussion. I hope you've all enjoyed it. I certainly did. A big thank you also to Professor Kevin Downing, our debate master. His clever humor certainly brings life to the room. And last but not least, a big thank you to all our participants out there for joining us tonight. This is the second Squaring the Circle debate for the year. The next Squaring the Circle debate is on the 25th of October. That's on a Wednesday at 8 p.m. Singapore time. And the topic for the next debate is students are not the customers of a university. As it is still a while away, we will be sending emailers to remind you nearer the date. Alternating with Squaring the Circle debate is the fireside chat. And the second fireside chat for the year is scheduled on the 16th of August, also on a Wednesday, and also at 8 p.m. Singapore time. The topic is meaningful and mutual engagement between alumni and their alma mater. Again, we will be sending reminder emailers, so do check your emails or spam boxes towards the end of July. In another few months, we will be the new rankers in town. On the 1st of December, 2023, we will be launching the Applied HE Private and Public University Rankings for the ASEAN region in Cebu, Philippines. You are most welcome to join us in person. It is held jointly with the Annual General Assembly of the Philippines Association of Colleges and Universities Commission on Accreditation, or PACOCOA as they're generally known. So what this means is you will be able to meet all the universities in the Philippines all under one roof, and I'm sure they're all looking forward to meet you too. Hope to see you in beautiful Cebu in December. We will be sending you the information and registration emailers very soon, so do look out for it. Meanwhile, if your institution is located within the ASEAN region, and if you haven't submitted data to us yet, please do so ASAP. The submission deadline for the Applied HE ASEAN rankings is by the 30th of December 2023. Next, meet our family of apps. They are excellent tools for developing your branding strategies. We have Future. It's the first of its kind, an online networking platform created specially for the higher education sector. And to serve your ever-growing alumni family, we have the Alumni Ready app. This is not just a CRM, but also an app that enables you to efficiently track, manage, and keep your alumni engaged, all backed up with data and all on one platform. Your university's alumni are a powerful source for everything, from brand building to infrastructure to increasing reputation, student numbers, and funding. And we have the strategies to help you leverage this potential. Next is Applied HE Talent Ready. This is still in development stage. Talent Ready is an app created specifically for graduates to connect to the industry and vice versa. Basically, it will match the right graduating student to the right employer. Another app also in development is Collab Ready. This is the ultimate platform for all kinds of collaborations in the higher education industry, be it MOUs, research, exchanges, mobility, etc. All these innovative apps will definitely help the various departments of your university and will give you that edge over your competitors. Our online news site, Extra Extra, has been around for a while. This web app can help you to disseminate your university's news and information to your global peers and stakeholders, hence building your brand globally. This is phase 1. And coming soon, phase 2, we are building a platform to help researchers to promote their research papers to generate more citations and awareness. These two platforms are complementary, so please use them. Under our Future Ready suite of micro-credentials, we have the critical thinking assessment test created specially for your graduating students. This innovative strategy will put your university's name into the hands of your employers, hence building your employer reputation. Now, I don't have time to go into the details now, but if you would like to learn more about how this strategy can become a great branding and marketing tool that will not only enhance your students' resumes, but also increase your visibility with your employers at a low cost or no cost. Please contact us to learn more. This win-win strategy benefits the three groups: your school, your students, and their employers. We also have 3 rating systems with great marketing tools as well to meet your benchmarking and global branding needs. We have the all-round job-ready rating to evaluate the quality of teaching and learning and employability of your graduates. We also have an English-ready rating to evaluate the quality of English language instruction in non-English speaking countries. This is a great marketing tool for the recruitment of international students. And the online-ready rating, which helps your institution to benchmark and promote your online programs and courses. These tools can easily translate into affordable strategies for global branding and marketing. Once rated, you will receive a verified badge to strengthen all your marketing materials. And last but not least, we want to acknowledge our sponsors, and we're very grateful to them for their support. The City University of Hong Kong, Universitas Hasanuddin of Makassar in Indonesia, and Education Insight from the UK. A very big thank you for your valuable support. So we've come to the end of the second Squaring the Circle debate. Thanks very much, everyone, but please do not leave the room yet. We always have the Applied HE signature sign off after our webinars. So we want to invite you to network for a bit with everyone here. And Simon will be opening the room soon for a few minutes. You can see each other, say hello, have a chat, do whatever. And this is as much as we can do online in the name of networking. So please turn on your cameras. Simon will be upgrading you to panelists, so please do not decline. But before I hand you over to Simon, I'd like to make a quick announcement. If any of you would like to speak at any of our webinars, please reach out to us. Just email me or drop us a line. Right, over to you, Simon, to get our online social event started. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening. A great day ahead.
Thank you, Mandy.
Hi, Bolagade. Nice to see you.
Thank you very much. Good to see
Oh.
you.
Hi,
Yeah.
Hope.
Yeah.
Do I see my camera?
Hi, guys.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
I can see a photograph of Cielo, and Polio no.
Yeah.
Who is the one who didn't get in just now?
Yeah, that was Maguera. Maguera, are you able to speak and say hi?
Or coming on video?
Yeah, she's muted at the moment. I did send a chat message to Maguera saying, is there a problem? Maybe it's a signal problem, internet, not sure. Right. But I hope everyone enjoyed the debate. It was really fun to hear from you. I think you made some very good points, and look out for you at the next debate. Whereas those of you that are new will be old hands at it. And do let Mandy know if you'd like to be on the panel.
Yeah, please drop me a line.
Yeah. Okay. Bolagada, how do you pronounce your second name? I made a bit of a mess of it. I'm really sorry.
The second name is Adekombi.
Adekombi. Adekombi. Got it. I'm really sorry. I made a mess of it.
It's okay. Thank you. Yeah.
So, Maguera, can you hear us? Doesn't look like it. That's a very nice picture of Apollonio Silva there. And Gulama Mahender, I don't think you can join us by video by the looks of it, but thank you for your contribution.
Yeah. Am I audible?
Hi, Mahender, we can see you.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was an excellent debate. I liked it very much.
Good. Thank you for your contribution.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, guys. I'll leave it
to the next event then.
Yep. Okay. See you all at next event. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Lovely to see you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
God bless.
Nice meeting you, Moran.
Thank you. Nice meeting you, Professor Wong. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Have a nice, wonderful day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
You too.
Thank you.